You're listening to The Blue Light with Appameda Programs and Services. My name is Alexandra Kim, and I'm the Educational Resources Assistant here at the office. And today I'm here with Cindy Nguyen. Before we get started, do you want to introduce yourself, name, major, position, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, sure. Like you said, my name is Cindy Nguyen. I am the Design and Publications Assistant at Appy Program Services, specifically focusing on online and social media. And I'm double majoring in ICAM and cognitive science. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Right now, it's very cozy and raining, so I'm just kind of here. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you here too. And before we start on, do you want to clarify what ICAM stands for? Because I don't know if everybody
Yeah.
knows what it means.
So ICAM, it's kind of silly. ICAM stands for Interdisciplinary Computing in the Arts major. Not sure why M counts as it, but it's probably related to the way that it's actually split up into two tracks. So there's an art side and then a music side. So I'm more visually inclined, so I'm on the art side of it all. So yeah.
Oh, do you have any experience with music though, or not?
No. My only experience is playing piano in like the second grade and then quitting after 2 years because I did not like practicing. And then now realizing like maybe I should have kept at it.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. You're in the art program instead, so we're all good there. But before I get into the questions, I kind of like to do this just like a quick little check-in, just like how are you doing? On this nice, cozy afternoon? I guess I can ask if there's a certain meme photo or video that would describe how you're feeling right now. What would it be? And I'd
A
probably
certain
upload
meme
it.
or photo.
Yeah, like a meme photo reaction,
Oh my God,
whatever.
wait, I need to find one. Well, as you currently know, but not the audience, it right now at the time of recording, it is week 5, Monday, and week 5 means midterms, and I am stressed. Let me find it. It's a reaction of like this cat. Um, Actually, this one's pretty good. I can't really share it, but because my phone won't show it. But it was just this cat lying on its back, just kind of like holding its
Just
hands to
like
itself. Yeah, it's like lying, looking up, and the caption is, "I wish I was a cat. No school, no work, just meow meow."
oh no, that's so cute. I hope you're doing okay though. Midterms are
Oh,
It's always a time here, at
it
UC
is.
San
It's
Diego,
hard.
unfortunately.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll be beyond that
Yeah,
soon.
we'll be beyond that soon, don't worry. Just week 3 to 8 is midterms, no big deal. No big deal.
How are you doing, Alex?
But yeah, I'm doing good, and don't worry, I'll upload all the meme photos in post, but I'm kind of feeling similar because of midterms. I'm kind of on that SpongeBob photo where he's supposed to be writing that essay.
Oh,
And it's just but the T
yeah,
is very
yeah.
intricate.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm at right now, again with the midterms. But overall, life is good. The rain's gonna be useful, even though that means we stay inside. So yeah,
That's true. I'm
yeah.
definitely been inside.
hmm I planned everything throughout the weekend just to make sure that I was able to stay inside the entire day today. So
Nice.
yeah,
Stay
super
warm,
nice.
stay dry.
You too. You too. All right.
Yeah.
And I guess to get into the actual questions, to start things off, why did you choose to go down the design and publications online media route? Why'd you choose this
Mhm.
position? How'd you start working with app media programs and services and just the beginning of your tenure here?
Yeah. Um, I mean, for me, at the time when I applied, I looked through it on Handshake because, funnily enough, I know that when you mentions like every like new like incoming student gets an email from Appy Forum Services, and it's just like, hey, like we're here as a resource, you know. But I entered during like COVID year, so I was just like communication's off. I'm not going to interact with anything because like everyone's like kind of off, you know. So I didn't really know about Abby Program Services until my third year when I applied. And so when I saw the thing on Handshake, I was just like, wait, this is like kind of a cool resource that I wish I knew earlier. And at the same time, I was looking for a design position. So there on the Handshake, it was labeled as Design Publications Lifebook, so specifically working on the Lifebook. So I didn't really know that I was going to be able to do online social media. It was only until like after interviews, they're like, hey, like kind of expanding it into three, like life book, online social media, and then your own position right now, educational resources. So then I was just like, okay, chill. Like I haven't worked on like online social media before, but I had some experience and I really wanted to like I said, like grow as a designer and like learn to do more and like, get to be able to do more. So it was just like, I'm gonna do this, like it's gonna be great. And it really has been great so far. So that's just been me, getting into online social media. Yeah. Just a little junior looking for a design job.
I'm sure you're gonna find that design job too because the stuff you've been doing for us has been so nice. But you kind of hinted at it earlier, where it's like you had just a little bit of graphic design experience. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the stuff you did before working with us?
Sure. I mean, like, should we start from high school?
As far back as you want. You can start from Adam and Eve if you want,
Crazy.
but
As a little child addicted to drawing. Just kidding.
we
Um,
can, we
no,
can.
no, 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 it's good. It's all good. No, in high school, I actually was publications for one of my like classes because we had like this little engineering capstone and I was in charge of making like the big PDFs for like the proof of concept and like all about our team and things like that. So I had some experience like laying out, like documenting things out. So that's why I was just like, oh, maybe Lifebook would work. But honestly, that was pretty scuffed because the way that I did it, because I didn't have Canva, I didn't have Adobe. So I was just like, yes, let me make this through Google Slides, change the format to like 8.511. Very scuffed. But coming to San Diego, there was a lot more opportunities for me to learn, like specifically about different types of graphic design. So um, I think it wasn't until my junior year that I was able to get into this program from Design Co called Visual Design Apprenticeship. And there was like a lot of like things that they would like kind of go over from like logo making to like making your own stickers to like making social media graphics. So my first few years like at SD was like learning like Figma and then like getting used to Adobe from like classes and stuff like that. And then also really like learning how to draw because it is like the academic stress of all that. So then, and also me figuring out like, hey, like I kind of want to do something graphic design, visual design, UI design, like leaning. So then it was like a lot of like, oh, let me find opportunities to do that. So before Abby Meta, definitely haven't worked on like social media pages like graphics like constantly like that. But there's definitely been like, oh, like a prompts for something and I want to make a poster for this. So little things like that. Just like using different softwares and like trying to find things to do. Most of it was like personal projects. So yeah. I don't know.
That's
It's
super
been a
nice.
it's been a ride.
Oh, it's been a ride. I like that for you. Do you have a personal, like, out of your personal projects, if you're okay with sharing, do you have a favorite that you can think of right now?
Um, I think in my head I have like two. One of them is related more to like brand design, visual design. I wish I could pull it up right now.
Honestly,
Else-
anything that you talk about, you can just send it over and I can upload it in post, so you're good.
Alrighty. Well, the first one um is more visual brand design. It was my final project for the Design Co. Visual Design Apprenticeship. It was supposed to be like a conceptual brand. And I was just like, I being here in SD, like if you have a car, you can get to many places. If you don't, then you're stuck with like what's around. And for me, like what's around is like Trader Joe's, like Ralph's and stuff like that. Like nothing against them, but like I miss my Asian food at the Asian restaurant without having to go to like the trolley and then the bus and take like an hour trip to like H Mart. So I was kind of like homesick. And I was just like, what if I made up a Vietnamese grocery brand, like of a grocery market? So I did that, and that was one of my favorite things. It's called Binh Minh Market. So Binh Minh in like Vietnamese is like sunrise, I think. So the whole motif of that was like this like rooster kind of like crowing, and that was like the whole thing. So I had a really fun time like drawing the logo of all that and like kind of crafting this like conceptual brand for like a Vietnamese grocery market because like I wanted Vietnamese food. So I think that was one of my favorite projects. And also because like it would be nice to see one close by. Like I know some of the closest ones are like Mira Mesa, but or one in Linda Vista too. But I thought that would be cool. So edit this in post. Just put it up.
For sure, for sure.
Photos.
Yeah, I don't think
Um,
Ralph's got the best Vietnamese food options. Neither does Trader Joe's, so
they have
I
like
think that's a really
one
nice project.
Asian like aisle, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna lump all of this together. Like, look at all of us, like happy meta.
In
Hello?
like the ethnic foods category.
Oh my God. I feel like Trader Joe's does a better job at Ralph's, but like
Yeah.
the bar is in hell.
Yeah, the bar is just like you wouldn't be able to see it on frame at all. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's
I
so
think,
fun.
yeah,
Hmm.
fun. That was like more visual thing. I think another, if I can have the time to talk about another one, it's like a poster. It's like this little brain on top of these letters that are just like, oh no, because it was like part of KSCT, which I think you are as well in
Yeah.
KSCT radio, different organizations. But I was a design intern, and one of the things that they're like, oh, just make a poster, like how you're feeling and stuff like that. And at the time of making it, I was in COGS 101B, and they're teaching us about like the perceptual load theory and how like your brain is kind of like a bucket holding all this water, which is your perceptual load. And if it gets like too full, then you're just like super stressed and it'll like tip over. So that was my whole like, I'm gonna draw a bucket, just water spilling out, because like, oh no, you're stressed.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think that one was pretty fun too.
That
So
one is so fun to say. Like I'm just thinking about just like, oh no. Just like a little onomatopoeia moment. It's so fun.
yeah,
Hmm. But
yeah, that's all
yeah,
for me.
wait, so what'd you say? Sorry.
That's all from me.
Oh no, you're good. But yeah, just jumping into it a little bit, you're right. I also did work at KSDT for a bit. I'm currently there right now, doing sports broadcasting, which is more on the media side of things, as well as sports marketing.
Hmm.
Um, so I have a bit of work with KSDT. It's a really cool group as well. There's a lot of overlap between who works where because we both
Hmm.
we're used to work at KSDT and here. I know Adalia and I are part of the Guardian as well.
Oh,
So there's a
cool.
lot of overlap with like the design folks. I didn't really realize that until today actually, but it's always kind
Everyone's
of nice to
everywhere.
learn. Yeah, we're kind of everywhere. It's real
Mhm.
nice to know about that. But just kind of talking about it because I feel like this could apply to whether like your former work, so like your work here at the office as well. But like, do you want to talk a little bit about what your design process or your creative process sort of looks like?
Sure. I think for me, it starts out with the thinking, whether that be like while I'm lying in bed or in the shower or just like randomly having thoughts throughout the day because I'm daydreaming. But it'll start off with brainstorming things, and usually from there, I'll go to my favorite place, Pinterest. Looking up like different like vibes and moods and stuff like that before moving on to sketches, whether it be like paper sketches, like on like this notepad or notebook. I actually have it with me, but
Oh, okay.
it's just a really like basic Daiso sketchbook thing that I have like filled like constantly, and it's like
That is
almost
so cute.
done actually. But yeah, it's like a lot of words. Like there'll be like my ideas and then like sketches of like wireframes and things like that. But then it'll be like math problems because my sister asked me for help. So it's just like those
Nice.
like all-in-one sketch pads. So I'll do some sketches there and then move on to Procreate on the iPad. It's a drawing app. And I usually go from there. If it's something like our Apibeta program services like social media graphics, I will start with a text layout first because for me, I draw my backgrounds based on the text background. So I'll make that on Canva because it's easier to format things there. And also for me, if I weren't working the position, I would start it on Figma because I'm more comfortable with Figma. And there's this thing called auto layout that like spaces it like directly, like how I want it. But Canva has grids and Canva is easier to share with everyone. So I'll start on Canva, get a text layout, download that, and then move it over to Procreate to draw like the elements and stuff like that. And then from there, it's like, finalizing things and then sending it out to y'all, see if you like it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
usually our team ends up really liking it because you're so talented and so cool. So
I'm
like that's the
glad.
easiest step. That's the easiest step is getting it approved,
Oh,
honestly. Yeah.
thank you, thank you.
Of course. Do you have a favorite ad that you've done for us?
Um, I think plugging the zine. I think last quarter we had Heart and Heritage, and then this quarter we have Heart and Harmony. But it's a different step away from how the usual ads go, at least for say like community time or other ads where the text layout is very consistent. I think for me, like those like zine submissions were like very fun because I could go kind of wild with it because the vibes are like they're more scrapbooky because zine, and then for me, I think working on the Heart and Heritage one, it took me a good part of the day because again, like starting off with like the brainstorming, I was just like, how do I want this to look? Or like how does Pinterest have for me that I can like kind of steal from and things like that. So a lot of thinking, and so I finally landed on like, what if I just took photos of my markers and like scissors and like just like tools that you would use for like physical like traditional media, like if you were to make things and stuff, and just paste it on and like lay out things. So I think for me that was a relatively like fun process because it was a lot of like it wasn't mixed media per se, like because it kind of mixed media, kind of not, like it's all on my iPad, but it comes from like photos of physical objects and then like found photos from the internet and stuff like that, and then my own doodles. So I think definitely the Heart and Heritage, that one was really fun, but the Heart and Harmony for this quarter would come as a close second because that was also pretty fun to make.
Oh, that sounds really cool. I didn't know those were your markers and like your tools in the background.
Yeah, like I have the scissors with me,
Oh my
scissors,
gosh,
and
the
then
infamous scissors.
some
That's
of my
crazy.
markers. No, yeah, it was as easy as putting down a piece of white paper and taking photos. Straight up,
You had the vision though, so it worked.
yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad.
Yeah. Do you experiment a lot with multimedia, whether it's here or outside the office? Is that something you want to do more of, or?
Mm, I think I'd like to do more of it. I don't think I've done it outside of the office. I feel because I think a lot of our my opportunities to like make designs like these come from like our prompts and jobs, especially because I had full control of the Heart and Harmony. Like me and Adalia were working on it as like the zine project, but I kind of had full control over the creative vibes of it. But I think it'd definitely be cool to do more mixed media, especially like physical. So maybe it comes out of personal time if I ever have it.
Oh, that'd be super nice. I'm kind of curious though, since you kind of mentioned how much creative freedom you had. It's kind of different between like one creative to another, but do you like having that as much freedom to do whatever you want with your work, or do you find it kind of overwhelming and you want a bit of structure? Because I feel like everyone's a bit different in how
Yeah,
they answer that.
I think yes and no. Like there definitely wasn't like total freedom for the Heart and Heritage zine. Like me and Adalia had to talk about what kind of vibes we wanted to. So like, I think the starting like jump off point, I definitely want like some sort of vibes that we want the graphic to be because I think total freedom means I think about it more, and thinking about it more will mean more time. So um I definitely prefer just a little bit of like structure, some like signs of like, oh, like what's the direction of this graphic going in. But if it were to go into the extreme side, like I want it down to a T, I want to use this font, this color, this format. I'm like, well, you know what you want. What am I doing? So definitely just a bit. But how is that different for you? Because I think you mentioned that.
Yeah, I guess for myself, I do more any work that I do is mostly written. I'm working on a project with the Grow program at the library,
Mm,
um,
mm,
as well. So a lot of the projects I do is like written or like research because sometimes I do for the office, I do like little preview posts about certain community time events that we would do. I like having a little bit of that structure just to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. But I think rather than like having it written out for me, I like being fairly collaborative
yeah.
in the way I create stuff. I feel like Brian and I think you also meet with Brian because all the design and publications assistants do, but shout out to him. He's super
We
cool.
love Brian.
We
Very
love
cool.
Brian.
We love
Yeah.
mozzarella.
Yes, we do. Yes. we do. I'm gonna need to have him come on and like explain the context of that and just like all the silly things that he's mentioned throughout his tenure so far.
Who is mozzarella?
Who is mozzarella? Well, we'll probably have
What?
that in a Brian episode.
Yeah,
hmm
mozzarella and Brian. Brian and mozzarella.
So true. They're like inseparable. They're like this. They're like this.
Oh yeah, I can imagine it. Like me, like the talking heads, just like having their photos next to each other.
Oh my
That'd be
God.
cute.
But yeah, as I was saying though, like I'm very collaborative. Like even in making this podcast idea, I went to him a lot because I like I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so it's like I want to make sure I'm like doing everything right. Where it's like I
Yeah.
want to make sure that like this is like a concept. Like if I have a certain concept that this is the concept like the rest of the office is kind of okay with,
Mm.
or just brainstorming it out as much as possible. Um so I think most of my rigidness comes from just leaning onto others. Not having them do the work for me because I need a bit of control, LMAO.
Yeah.
But just making sure that the people that I'm working with kind of know what's going on, that we're all on the same page.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I am with the work that I do. Is I also like having that happy medium, but I also like to be very cooperative and involve other people,
Yeah.
who are also meant to be involved with the projects that I do.
Yeah, of course.
hmm
I think for me that translates to like, because you're making the graphic for someone, so like they should also have some input.
hmm
Definitely get it.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. And like I'm working with, like I said, I'm working with Grow. We've been doing so many
Mhm.
meetings with just like me, Brian, Daphne, just like talking about what's going on. And it's been a while. It's taking a while to draft up the posts, because
I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, it's hard because it's just like it's a lot. And it's just about connecting like what does our office want to do versus like what the
Mhm.
Grow program wants to do. I think that's always the hardest part. Is just making sure that everyone's ideas can be kind of seen in the work that I
Yeah,
do. Mhm.
looking forward to it.
I appreciate it. I
Good
appreciate
luck.
it. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. You talked a little bit about how you did a lot of collaborative stuff with Adalia, our one of our other
Yes.
design and publications assistants, in addition to your separate design stuff. And
Mhm.
I remember one of the meetings that y'all had was like a branding meeting, and
Yes,
from what I heard that y'all talked about colors for 2 hours.
we
But
did.
yeah, just walk us through what it's like working with some of the other folks in the office. It can be about Adalia specifically, or it can be talking about any of the other staff members that you work with as well.
I guess we could start off for our 2-hour color meeting. That was a bit chaotic, I feel. It was, I think, after one of our events, and we went back to my apartment, and then I just grabbed my laptop out, and then, because the whole thing was just like, we have like colors. Like you can see like the blue that we have in our background, and the navy blue for the color, like the letters and like stuff like that.
Right.
But like, we're like, there needs to be a little more, right? Because I think you can see from week 4 of fall quarter, there's definitely more colors than just blue, white, and like navy blue. That was the result of that meeting. But we were just trying to find kind of like a color for each, like all part on the rainbow that would kind of fit Nappy Meta. So for us, it was a lot of going on coolers.co, trying to find colors that we liked personally. And I think we ended up with like, I want to say like 20, but I'm gonna pull up the Figma and look at it right now.
Dang.
Um, we came up with 10 colors, with each color having its own like lighter variant. So yeah, a total of 20. And then we were like, well, what if it was like warmer or like cooler? So then we put like filters, and then we had like 60 colors. And just like, this is a lot. So then for me, I normally pick the warm side, but Adalia picks the cooler ones for the life book since I think they're a little more readable. But for me, it was really fun to work with Adalia because like we're like bouncing ideas off of each other, and it's just like Adalia also in of herself, she's like very, very, very cool. I love hearing her talk. So
Mhm.
like it's fun to bounce ideas off of each other and like kind of pull things together. And that 2-hour meeting was also, I think, a little bit leaning into planning heart and heritage, but we won't get into that. But for me, it's really fun to work with Natalia. Working with everyone else in the office, Mira, Danny, Nicole, Fishwan, you, like, it is also very fun, especially during our staff meetings when we're like kind of throwing out ideas, whether it be for like a title or like the contents of just like an ad. So like I really like because like I said earlier, like I like giving what I finish to them to like for feedback because I also want them to have their own input, but also including like little like things like I don't know if y'all noticed, but for the first community time of Winter Quarter, the color chat and chill, um the brainstorming was just like, what if we celebrated National Milk Day? Of course that didn't make it into the works, but Danny was like, we should put a cow in there. And I was just like, yes, we should put a cow. And then I forgot about the cow until I sent it. And I was just like, wait, I forgot the cow. I need to revise it.
Oh
And it's just
no.
like seeing those things, I think, like putting our little jokes in. I really enjoy that too. So
Mhm.
I also rely a lot on them because they're the ones sending in the requests. Um, and like saying like, oh, what needs to be here, what kind of vibes there are, and like the description of the event. So it's definitely a mutual relationship, like adding on to it. I just take more control on the creative side, but there's definitely room for little silly things like cows.
Yeah, honestly, I'd be down to implement cows somewhere in our other graphics, or maybe we'll implement it somewhere in the podcast, do just like a whole, I don't know, like
Maybe.
milk episode. I don't even know, but we'll make it
Maybe
work.
I believe.
I
It's like the
appreciate it.
transition.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But honestly, yeah, I would agree that like a lot of the staff meetings and like even just the work that we do outside of that, it just feels super collaborative.
Yeah.
It there's like a nice little bit of independence, so you have control of what you can do, but it's a lot of collaboration, I think.
Hmm.
We work very well as a collective, I'd like to think. And the staff meetings are so funny. Was it you that pulled up like the Valentine's Day cards a couple meetings ago with like the
Oh
Comic
my
Sans?
God, sneak peek. Or maybe it's already old news by the time this comes out. But yes, I thought it'd be funny to do the Comic Sans Valentine's cards. And there I pulled up a Bernie Sanders one because
I've
that
got a
felt
burning desire
really
for
fun.
you.
Got a burning desire for you.
That is so good.
It
That's
is
so
really
good.
good. I
I
can't
kind
wait for us to come up with them.
I know it's gonna be so fun. I kind of like how memeable our group is. I think,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I feel like we've been tapping into the memes a lot more. It's been really fun.
Hmm.
Um, But yeah, it's just been really interesting working with the collective, just the staff meetings and everything. You kind of talked a little bit about the request channel. I know it's a very
Sure.
important part about your design process with the office specifically. Do you want to talk a
Hmm.
little bit about how that came up? Has it been
Yeah.
helpful for you? And yeah.
Okay. Well, for those uninformed, we have a Slack for Appy Meta programs and services. And there is a channel that is locked, but not to a staff. It's called the Design and Pubs request channel. For me, I made that, or like I brought up the idea of that was because again, like I needed like some structure, and I like can't really keep things in my head very well. So I wanted a place to like collect all of like the this is what we want graphics for, whether it be like, oh, there's gonna be a community time like 2 weeks from now, or like Danny's event, like there's gonna be a book club, like I'd like to have a graphic for that. So I kind of set that up to organize all of the graphics that I needed to make, but also like keep track of like what I was doing during a certain time. I know Slack like deletes, not really deletes, but erases my message or like doesn't let me look my messages like from 3 months ago. But it's still nice to like have like a place to kind of archive it. So the most basic request form for me, like I wanted like the name of the event, when it's gonna happen, when we wanted to post, the description of it to add into the graphic, and then the vibes and like the tone of it all, and then the any other additional resources. And so since it's like a Slack message, I can also reply to it with the finished product. So it kind of helps me with like again keeping track of it, but also like gathering feedback like in one place so like everyone can see it and can see like the other requests that are going on. So for me, it's just a really useful tool to like see like what graphics do I need to make and like how many is left kind of vibe. Or like what do I need to do for this graphic? So if you ever see me online on Slack, it's because I'm looking at that channel.
I like how you always respond. Like most people respond with like a thumbs up or like a heart. I like how you always respond with like the saluting
Salute.
emoji. This one
It's
is
so
so,
funny.
it's so funny. I like stalk through the Slack once in a while because I like to clear out all of my notifications, even if it's not as relevant to me. And I always see
Uh-huh.
like the little salute message, and I'm just like, ah yes, our team is on
Yes.
track. We're good to go.
Got it.
Um, got it. That is so good. That is
Yeah.
so good. But yeah, I guess I might as well ask, is it any more collaborative outside of the channel as well? Like they send in the request and like do you keep contact with them on the specific projects
Yeah.
before it's done as well?
Definitely through the staff meetings because like the staff meeting is usually before the design post request. So like there's like some notes in like our meeting notes where there's like other things and then sometimes we will like check up because like some of the things it's more like logistics wise that they we get collab like outside of design and post requests. Um, but yeah, if it's not in the design post request, it's in the meeting, or it's in the meeting notes, or it's just like a DM like, "Hey, Cindy."
Hey,
So
hey girl.
yeah, hey
Hey.
girl, how you doing? You want to design a graphic?
Like, hey, dot dot dot. I know it's a week and a half from now, but
Hey. Yeah.
oh my gosh. You somehow pull through though. It's always so interesting to see how you always pull through.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, we got two graphics we need to make today.
Oh, good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck, good luck. But yeah, I feel like with the graphics, there's always something a little bit different depending on what the person requesting wants, what type of event you're doing. If it's not for an event, but more so just another type of programming. But one thing that stays pretty consistent with the graphics is these things you like to call your little blorbles. I think they're so cute. I feel like as important as the color branding, I feel like the blorbles have become our little figure.
Yeah.
You might see them pop up on our podcast here and there, but you want to talk about the little origin story of the blorbles? How did they come about? Is this because of the office or before the office? Like, walk us through
Uh,
that real quick.
I mean, yes and no. I did the Blorbo, as I like to call them. Basically, like the first graphic that I had to make was the week one community time of fall quarter. And for me, like a lot of things, I like having like a little like figure that kind of stays, like something to like represent the office. Because I felt like it needed more than just the logo. So it's just like, why not use like the blue that represents the office and like add a little cute face on it? Because like that's for me, like I feel like that's also a trend. Like there's like people like having a like small derpy smile like on like
Yeah.
things and it just makes it like even more cute. So I was just like, let me just do this. So that kind of stuck because I was just like, it was a nice way to break up the background. Like design wise, like it was a white background and I wanted like a gradient, but like nothing too crazy. So I was just like, let me just put in this like circle with and then apply some like noise and like blur and it'll be great and then have a small happy face. And I kind of took over because it was like in my head a nice way to represent the office, like the blue one. But then when other colors, it would be a nice way to represent like the community. And because like all of them, none of them are either ever in like the same color. So there's no like two blue ones or like two green ones. There's always one blue and then like other colors. So like for me, the blue represents the office and the others represent the community and the event goers and different colors just means like everyone's like pretty different since our office is kind of like not all encompassing, but like we have many identities of like Admitted folk in here. So I was just like, this will be a nice way to have it all together. And then it kind of stuck. So Florbos.
Blorbos. I didn't realize there was like a specific family of blorbos, honestly, almost, where it was just like a color for a specific, like, for like a specific member of that blorbo family. I think that is so cute.
Yeah.
Mhm. Do you have like a favorite blorble appearances on any of your, yeah, basically asking like favorite blorble graphic, but that's kind of what I'm asking.
No, it's a good question. I don't know if there's a specific graphic where I like them on. But there is one there. I usually have a light green one. And on the light green one, I tend to have like a shocked face. Like it's just like kind of head empty, like
Oh my God.
so I like that one a lot. I usually pair those colors like and that expression together. So I think that one's my favorite. It's the light green one that's like kind of head empty, no thoughts, kind of shocked, kind of cool, kind of in awe.
That is so fun.
Yeah.
I kind of like how you did the blurbles with a little bit of everything. I remember a little behind the scenes. You had a little work in progress blurble too.
Oh yes. I will send that to you, but that was because of the newsletter. When I didn't have the graphics done in time, but I still wanted a photo, so it's just a blue Blorbo wearing a construction hat with the caution, like those like caution things. It's just like I'm not done yet.
Yeah, like we'll be done soon.
Yeah, in construction, just
Yeah.
how UCSD is always building.
So true. How speaking of eighth college, speaking on
We
eighth
love
college, will there be a ninth?
you.
Love you, UC San Diego. We love you.
We love SD. I'm hearing 10, maybe 13. I don't know if we'll
13
ever
is
run out of
crazy.
land.
We got 13 colleges and like two parking structures. So
It's time to
fun.
take to the skies. Put the parking in the air.
The sky buildings, like this, like that one Sky High movie or something, is
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm. That is so crazy. But I'll talk a little bit about the newsletters. I joined the office before most of the undergrad student staffs here. I joined when I was a sophomore, currently a senior. And
Mhm.
at that time, I was kind of in charge of all the media stuffs, and that
Yeah.
included the newsletters. And it was kind of difficult trying to filter out like all the messages. I once again confided in like Brian, and shout out to Wendy as well, our associate
Yeah.
director. Super cool.
Very
Confiding in
cool.
them a lot to make sure I was doing it right, putting in the right information. And then once our team expanded, I focused more on passive programming, and a lot of the digital stuff went to Cindy, including the newsletter. So, how has the newsletter process been for you? What's kind of helped you? What are some things that kind of stick out when making the
Mhm.
newsletter?
Well, I think I took over like week 3 of fall. Um, I think I was definitely like, whoa, I've never used Constant Contact before. What a finicky platform. I'm sure you have experience with it, having worked on it for so long.
Yeah,
But God, if this could turn into like a high, I hate Constant Contact.
go for it. It's okay.
No, I mean like how do you like find Constant Contact before I like share my whole like spiel?
I honestly I'll say that there is a reason why I kept my designs fairly limited when I was doing
Yeah.
the newsletter. I'll just say that. I think it's really good for spreading out the emails and like keeping track of the logistics. I think in terms of design, it can be a little bit finicky here and there, especially
Yeah.
for those that have experience with a little more sleeker programs. Another thing that I mentioned, and this is part of the reason why I fully gave control to you,
No.
you can't log in at the same time as like with like
Oh,
multiple
really?
people. Yeah, so sometimes because there's only like 2 to 3 undergrad staff at the time,
Mhm.
and we didn't have like specific positions, it would be like one person, I'd be doing the newsletter, and then like someone else would want to add something in just to contribute, but then like I'd get logged out and like lose the progress that I did. So it's really finicky with having multiple people on, which is part of the reason why I was like I might as well just hand it over because
I
it'd
see.
be more annoying if I tried to help. But those are my personal thoughts. I think it's really good logistically. It's just a little finicky to design with, but what do you think?
Definitely finicky to design with. I think my first like time doing it, like the newsletter, I was just like, oh, let me drop in this image. And then like when you drop in images on Constant Contact, there's like the little like pink, like a hot pink line that's like a preview where it goes. Then I would like drop it and then the language just like spaz out and like go crazy everywhere. I'm like, where are we dropping things? So it was very hard to like edit layout and things like that. Um, I looked at the layout. I like looked through all the past ones, so that was very helpful. Thank you. And like kind of just like reorganizing some things. So I think definitely it took a while to learn it, but I'm pretty familiar with it now. I don't love it, but it works for what it does.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I definitely like similar to you, like talk to Brian and Wendy, like trying to make sense of the different sections, like how like our we have our own section and it's just like campus community partners and like community classified, like things like that. So it's just like this is definitely going to take like some getting used to because it's just like again like filtering out the messages. Like sometimes I don't know whether this message makes sense or not, or like in the newsletter, and also that like takes a chunk of time. So definitely it was a learning curve, but a lot of help from y'all. So I really liked it.
Mm.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
ever want to do the newsletter again, let me know. I'll gladly hand it off to you.
I'll let you know. Also see you would like change. You were like changing like the day it'd be released towards fall quarter two because you're just like I think this time is gonna work for me. Actually, wait,
Yeah.
never mind. This is a lot. This time is gonna work for me instead. But
It was originally like I think it was like Tuesday 12:05 or
yeah.
something. And honestly, that probably would have been a better time than it is now. Where currently it's Tuesday 8:35. And I think we did 8:35 a.m. because I think all of us we were in the same meeting like talking about like when like people would see it and whether it'd be buried in people's inboxes. We tried Monday briefly, but that left me with like a sad Sunday. So
Oh,
I was just like, no, let me just push this till Tuesday. And also there's Monday holidays, so why not, you know?
yeah.
So Tuesday 8:35 a.m. Yeah. It's definitely my schedule's kind of wonky.
That makes sense. That makes sense. If you really need me to take over the newsletters, I'll happily do that for you. But you've been doing a good job with this so far.
Thank
You're holding on
you.
very well.
Thank
Um,
you.
but yeah, as while I'm saying it, just letting y'all know, all of our socials will be linked down below, so that if you
Oh
don't know
yeah.
what we're talking about, get onto it.
Yeah.
Learn about our programs a little more, please. Everything will be in the link description down
I will
below.
put up a connect graphic. It'll have our YouTube link, which you're already on, or the Reels, like Instagram, you know, like the Slack, our Facebook, more things to come, Spotify, things, follow the newsletter, read the newsletter. I want to see that open rate go up.
So true. Honestly, I used to like obsess over the statistics too. I just be like, dang, we made it above 0.500. We made it to 50%.
Wow.
And like other days it'd be like 35. I'm just like, that's fine.
This is your sign. If you haven't read our newsletter, read it. I will
Exactly.
come for you.
So true. Cindy does not put in all that work and sacrifice her
Please
Sundays and
read,
Mondays for nothing.
please read it. It's
No, but
useful.
yeah. Actually, real talk though, it is super useful. Like if you all want to understand certain programs going on at UC San Diego, maybe other things pertaining to the Apameta identifying community in the greater San Diego area, whether it's educational, career-wise, or just like some social stuff here and there. The newsletter has kind of everything you need to know in the moment. So
Yeah,
make sure to check it out. It's so fun to look through.
it has a good chunk of things you need to know. Like, I'm making this the newsletter, and I'm just like, oh wow, the Charles Spot is just around. Things like that. Like, oh, there's gonna be an event at the Cross Cultural Center. Like, whoa, this sounds cool. Free food. No way.
So true. So true. Mhm.
Useful.
So useful. So another thing to look out for is free dinner plans. So whichever event you want to scour food from, check
Oh
the
yeah.
newsletter.
It's a
But
college student if they're not currently looking for food always. Free food?
exactly. Exactly. Once the dining dollars run out, you're just scouring for literally anything else. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a time.
What a
Um
time.
what a time. I guess one final thing I'll talk about. I kind of want to circle back to the zines because I feel like that's a really significant project that the design team has been working on. So let's talk about it. What was the whole concept behind it? I know there's kind of a past, present, future kind of theme going on, but if you want to go into that a little bit more, go for it.
Yeah. I guess why the zine started. I think Adele and I during staff training, especially like all the way in the beginning, like September, we were talking about finding ways for the community to contribute to share like what they've created, whether it be like a story or like a piece of art or anything. We really just wanted to showcase like student voices and student art. So for us, the zine was a part of that because I know like a lot of organizations around like on campus like do zines, and that always felt really fun. And I remember submitting to like the KSCT zine ones, and that was cool. Like seeing especially the physical products, like just seeing your work online or like in a place, it's like it felt rewarding, and I thought that maybe that'd be something that students were interested, like academic students, anyone else. So that's why we made the zine. Just one of our first steps, like having a platform to like the Abby Medic community to contribute to. But for the theme, the past, present, future kind of, it wasn't like our first thought. We were just like, we wanted to have, I think, just a nice theme. So for us, again, it came out of like a late night conversation. I think it was at like Bistro, just like while it was really loud and I was chopping on hot Cheetos and Adalia was like eating. Like we were just like kind of vibing like what kind of thing should we do? And Adalia, bless her, alliteration queen, came up with heart and heritage. And heart for like, obviously heart, but also there's the word art in there. So we came up with heritage because that was like kind of the first things that we thought would be kind of easy to tap into, like kind of thing like where you came from and like your stories and like your people's stories, your ancestors' stories, like those are things that like kind of like are passed with us. Like they come with us and like we hear about them. And I think also it's an important part to like not let the past disappear. Especially like for Happy Meta Folk, where like, some of it's like it feels like we're definitely like erasing some parts of history. So it's just like let's have like a place for that, like to highlight that. So Heart and Heritage came apart. And I was just like, wow, this is like really like past coded up. So then that's where like the past, present, and future comes from. So Heart and Harmony focuses more on the present. But themes just kind of worked out like that. I feel like Adalia will have more words to say because she definitely talked a lot more about it and it was very big brain in it. So yeah. Heart and Harmony though. This one currently, this quarter, is more about again like present. So if the other one was focused on like your stories of like the past and like your like people's stories, this one is more about like how you root yourself in the present. Like how do you keep yourself here? Or like how do you find peace in the moment, like here, right now? So that's why we have harmony. And the next one, the future one, will potentially be. You didn't hear that from me. So
I heard nothing.
yeah,
Allegedly, allegedly,
supposedly. Heart and what
maybe
now?
heart and fill in the
Heart and
blank.
huh. Huh.
Heart and huh. That is so good. Are they heart and huh? As in like
Huh?
what's going on in the future? The world doesn't. The world may never know.
Actually, that's pretty good. Heart and
Those
Hell would be like iconic.
heart and huh would be crazy. Would
Can you
that
like pitch
top?
that to Adalia?
We'll see. We'll see. The episode will come out in Adelia. We'll see what we were talking about.
She's like, Heart and what?
Heart and huh?
Actually, it's Heart and Huh.
Crazy. Oh my goodness. But yeah, do you have any particular memorable moments from the zine making events so far? Because I know we've had two events, one for each quarter.
Um, I mean, the most present one, well, like the most current one, will be the one that's relevant in my mind. Um, we were planning on doing a meditative activity and then moving on to haikus and origami. But then I think, not a bad thing. I think a great thing. We just jumped straight into the origami, and then me and one of our visitors, Carolyn. I'm sorry. We made a lot of jumping frogs. It was kind of crazy. If you watch the reel, it's just a lot of like frog shenanigans, like doing races and like crashing into like other things. So I think that was pretty fun. And also like everyone else was able to like create their own pieces. I think Jessica from Carrot Art came and she made a very wonderful butterfly. And then others made like this blow up bunny, and then others more cranes and things like that. So it was a very chill event, which I think was the part of it. So definitely going to have all the photos of the origami made in the zine. The fall zine is currently still in progress. When will it come? You'll never know, but it'll come.
I believe it.
It will be there. Yeah,
We will be there.
we will be here.
We will be there, yes. But yeah, I'm excited to see that coming out. I'm excited to see what else you end up doing with your tenure here. I'm gonna conclude it by doing a little recommendation section. I think you know what this
Okay.
is, but
Oh yeah.
for those who don't know, again, like I said earlier, we both meet with Brian. These days it's been one on one just based off of the projects we're doing. And
Yes.
they always like to end their meetings by recommending literally anything. So any food, any restaurants, any places, music. So yeah. You have a recommendation before we sign off?
Oh my. Okay, this is not originally my recommendation. It was Brian's, but then like I have been like sharing it like left and right. So like it's kind of crazy. But basically Brian has this food diary notion kind of thing where he like has his recs. And there's this pho place called Pho You and Mai in Kearney Mesa, and oh my God, it is the best pho I've had in SD. Honestly, probably like in any restaurant, like outside of my mother's cooking. So I really love it. It's Pho You and Mai, like Duyen, and then Mai, Mai. They have really good chicken pho. They have really good beef pho. They have like really good like rice dishes if you like broken rice or like kum tam. And they have this dessert which is like water chestnut jelly. I English names or whatever, but in Viet it's called Sungsa Hatlu, and it's like it's very great. It's very good. And so if you have a car, or if you have a friend with a car, or if you have friends that want to go and want to Uber, y'all should go because it's delicious. And I have I've told all my friends, and every time we go, we're just like, oh my God, it's so good. I'm like, wow, thanks, Ryan. So yeah.
That is so good. It's in Kearney Mesa, you said? All right, I'll have to check it out then. All right.
Do
And with
you have a
that,
rec?
I guess so. I'll do one real quick. Going off the topic of food, I'll talk about Korean food though, because that's my
Ooh.
heritage. There's this place in the Convoy area called Umyok,
Uh-huh.
and is probably like one of the nicest like Korean food places that isn't just like Korean barbecue. Like they have LA
Oh,
kalbi available, which is a type of Korean barbecue, but their signature dish I think is their seolleongtang, which is like an oxtail like a
yes.
bone broth type of soup. So like the plain like soup itself is like very rich, very brothy. But then you have these like little garnishes that you put in. You put in your scallions, you put in your salt and your pepper. You can also put in some of the kaktuki juice, which is like the square kimchi, like the little juices in there as well, and just like customize the flavor you want while keeping like that bone broth feeling. It is so nice. It's so comforting.
It
Don't go
sounds
out in
so
this
good on a day
rain,
like today.
but wait, what?
It sounds really good on a day like today.
It would just don't get it delivered because the delivery drivers would hate you. So don't do it.
I see.
Wait for like a light drizzle day to go. But
Not today. Not while we have a potential flood.
exactly. It's not worth the flash flood, but it is still a 10 out of 10 restaurant, I'd say.
I see, I see. That sounds good.
Yeah. All right. And with that, this has been the Blue Light with Appmeta Programs and Services. Thank you so much, Cindy, once again for being here. And with that, we'll be signing off. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.